And no intro, no intro. There's no, we don't need to sell anything. I have Ill Bliss on the show. Welcome, man.
Thank you so much, my brother. How are you?
Man, I'm chilling.
I haven't seen you in a minute though.
And this is catch up. You know, I was telling someone that, you know, I'm about to have an interview with Ill Bliss, but it's not going to be an interview. It's a master class / catch up. Man,
Gomey with you is never. Interviews are for typical rounds. Like it's like when you're sitting down with your guy on a park bench and you guys are just chopping it up, and you're just catching up with times, man. So it feels good to be here.
When it comes to Ill Bliss, the artist, the one word that it is synonymous is longevity. A lot of things that we're going to talk about, I'm going to take it from a personal place.
Okay.
I remember when we were coming up, like with them, Rogba and the rest of them, we were looking at the industry, like we want to do things different.
Yeah.
So we're more or less trying to look at the people that we felt like we're doing things in a different way. And I remember us coming across Thoroughbred.
Yes.
And straight up, it was like, yo, Ill Bliss. I that was like years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember that I am still posting IllyChapoX.
Yes.
And I'm like, yo, da. And so I want to know, like, is there like a secret to it, or is there something that you kind of did to still be relevant?
I'll be honest with you, Gomey. I don't even know how I got here. I just know that I asked God for one album. I asked him for an album in 2008, 2009. That Igbo Boy, that was my debut album. The plan was to do that album and then bow out nicely and just, probably focus on other things. But that album came and it dropped. And then it took me another 3 years to make Oga Boss, which was 2012. In those 3 years, I sat back and I created a company called the Goretti Company that managed artists and developed the careers of Fino, Chidinma, etc. But then I went back to music in 2012. And since that 2012, it's been just me putting out albums against all odds. I never knew that I was going to be in this industry, and IllyChapoX is my 10th project.
Oh.
Yeah, so I have 6 albums and I have 4 EPs. So but there's something about me. Like Gomey, I always approach it like a new artist. I always approach it from okay, I'm not leaving the game until I decide it's time. Yeah, I'm not going to be that guy that, remember that was a jam that year. I don't want to hear those words. Like I want to put out music that bangs. Music if it's hip hop, is rap, is hip hop. I want to be known as the guys that held it down for so damn long. I don't want to be like a flash in the pan. And this is one thing that just keeps pricking me every time I wake up. I'm like, I'm done. This thing doesn't have enough money in it. Let me just go. But it's in us, and we're creatives, so we always want to come back and create more music. So I keep challenging myself. Back to your question, I keep challenging myself. Like, Illy, you haven't done enough. You haven't put in enough. You can be more. Each album sells you to a different audience. So I guess self mixed with the love I have for hip hop music and hip hop culture just keeps driving me to, to keep improving and to keep getting better. And every time I put out material, they're like, this guy has 10, 9 lives. This guy.
And then the thing with you is that I look at features.
Yeah.
You're always collaborating
Mm-hmm.
with the hottest artist out at the point, and then you're always just delivering. So you coming from like a pure MC, because I remember your earlier songs and everything. You get like with the bars and everything. I mean, you still spit bars, but I remember then, like, how did you unlock the streets? Because that's one thing like a lot of artists, especially hip hop artists, have failed at.
Gomey, I'll be honest with you. When I perform and I see the crowd and I see the energy, I'm like, I'm scamming these guys. Because deep in my heart, like I'm a pure true MC. Like I always want to make music that is thought provoking, meaningful, content driven, you know. But I learned this very early in this game. I learned that a lot of such MCs
Yeah.
left the game without much. Didn't secure the bags from this game, and it's a combination of factors because at that point where I was getting into hip hop music and I was approaching it from a very puritanical, you know, angle. You know, I was inspired by a lot of rappers that were, so to speak, very, very cerebral. So I find myself in Nigeria where cerebral music never gets, you know, it's almost like it's not celebrated where you're very intelligent, you know.
Yeah.
So people just want groove. People want to dance, you know.
Mhm.
Jam, lamba. They want
Yeah.
the lamba. So the lamba contributes to the figures.
Yeah.
Somebody told me one day that a lizard can blow up in Nigeria with the right lamba. Just a lizard, like a reptile, can just come out and conjure the right lamba, and Nigerians would be like, "Oh, that's so
That's
dope."
it.
They don't look at you sometimes; they just feel the music gives them. I laughed when I heard it, but it left something in my head, subconscious. Like whatever you do, try and make sure that you make music that has mass appeal.
Mad,
Yeah,
mad, mad. And then I get a lot of questions like from artists because man, like I said, this is a masterclass. So I'm going to I'm not. So I get a lot of questions from artists about corporate,
yeah.
like corporate world,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that you are equally as you know a boss. You are a boss in the corporate world. Like the way you interface, and from time, I remember like don't even let me go into it. Like I remember like the suits Ill Bliss. You understand? I
Yeah.
remember how do artists like more or less like make themselves attractive for the corporate world? How do they sell themselves? Because that's where I feel like that's where the money is
It
right like
is. It
now.
is.
So
Gomi, the corporates see numbers. So
okay,
let's say Gbedu is brand. Hip
yeah,
hop radio on Gbedu platform is a brand. So the corporates want to see, okay, let's look at the numbers. Let's look at their social media numbers, indices. How many people follow them? How many
yeah,
people comment? Oh, that's a hot show. Oh wow, this number of people. Um, oh, they've interviewed this person. They've interviewed such and such person, you know. And
yeah,
so they're beginning to look at the people that have come by this show and they're like, okay, so if we're going to give this guys 50, 100 mil, I mean, I'm just using a
mm-hmm,
figure, and we're going to keep our brand next to these guys. We need to make sure that these guys have a lot of traction. They have
yeah,
individual traction by themselves, you know. So this is how it is for music as well. They want to see that you have traction and people are talking about it. People are respecting the fact that you're putting out music. People are looking at your brand and they're saying something about it, positive or negative.
yeah,
This is exactly why an artist will take money and do promo on Instablog Niger, for instance.
yeah,
Yeah, and tell me, oh, I don't need to do radio rounds because
mm,
everybody has seen it now. So that's the
yeah,
artist of today. The artist of today is not interested in traditional media. They just feel
yeah,
like, okay, let me just pay dancers to come and
mm-hmm.
brand new record from
This
Gomey,
person,
drinks in the glass,
yeah,
popping everywhere,
mm-hmm,
and you have dancers dancing and you have views, whether you bought the views or you
yeah,
orchestrated them. So what it is, it comes down to numbers. The corporates don't really care. They just want to see that you have your own following and then that's how they can lean into you and say, okay, this
okay,
guy is dope enough to hold our brand. He's dope enough to be our
yeah,
brand ambassador. We can give him a show.
yeah,
I've made music that I believe in. I've never
okay,
made music to get hugs from the brands. So I
yeah,
was myself for a lot of years, and I paid the price for that. There are
yeah,
certain things I would have done, maybe artistically, maybe with my brand. There are also some dumb and foolish things I might have done. Like
yeah,
for instance, when the FU challenge, if you remember when
yeah,
the FU challenge came,
mm-hmm,
so a
mm-hmm.
brand I represent came to me and like, Illy, we're waiting for your FU challenge. Then they corrected themselves by themselves, and they're like, "But Illy's never going to do that."
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, So I like sometimes everybody's moving this way, and I choose to move this way. I know it's longer,
but
but I've moved
it's
this way, and
you,
I found results because I was patient. So
yeah,
y- you know. The artists need to develop themselves in a way that when a brand looks at you and you have 5 followers, they'll be like, but this guy is going somewhere.
What was your thinking when going into like IllyChapoX?
Gomey, I like to toot my horns with no arrogance, meant, but I've been here for a long minute. So, and I felt it wasn't man, it was God. And I felt God just also put man in place to help, but everything's attributed to God, to the divine. Every step, every project, every win, every endorsement, even every loss, God was trying to teach me a lesson. So eventually God crowned you and put you here. That was the energy behind God Major King. Underdog, Chapo underdog. Sorry for the couch, but I'll just sit on the rug.
yeah. And I feel like it themed the whole album.
Yes, it did.
So it's beautiful. It's
Thank
beautiful.
you so much. I'm glad you like it. I'm sending you the beat so you speak 16.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. And then I remember like all this is from my perspective. I remember like going on tour in the East with Mode 9 and Terry the Rap Man. And that was the first time I was even gonna be. And I remember that we got there and the amount of love was ridiculous. Like people were open. They wanted to hear about you and hear about your music and So how do we decentralize Lagos as I know there will always be like a capital, but because artists don't think there's anywhere outside Lagos. So how do we decentralize? How do we open up the industry to other parts of Nigeria?
Yeah, I grew up in Coal City, Enugu. It's the southeast. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create like a new colony, a new generation of southeasterners that understand streaming, that understand Spotify playlists, that understand how to buy music the legit way and not getting it on nigerloaded.com or nigergbedu.com. So first of all, educate them on how music moves. Then some of those enclaves are it's what it is the region. They are not as flamboyant, they're not as daring as Lagos. So I am also trying to inspire the new business, just the new age people, the youths, the youngins and the young entrepreneurs to also think in that fashion. Once you educate them that way, then they can accept a lot of other things that come with music and all the other subcultures. And so the guy that has connects in Ibadan, try and do that for the guys in Ibadan, hold talks with them and inspire them. Everybody does not, we all come here for now because Lagos is like the HQ for everything. But I'm doing all I can for the Southeast, which is my own primary constituency, tribally. So that's what I'm trying to do. And they are beginning to learn. They're beginning to move differently and beginning to see that we can create this industry locally here because once people buy, they are making money in the region now. But when they keep looking like, okay, if he hasn't blown in Lagos, then it becomes a problem.
Yeah. So shout out to the young artists that are actually like putting their city on the map, like classic for the North, like Fino always,
Fino is
always,
a god in the East, man.
And Ill Bliss.
And Ill Bliss. I mean, all the people that regionally they've been flying, they've been killing flags going.
Yeah.
God bless them.
Man, we can go on and on, man. Thanks so much. IllyChapoX.
Yes,
Y'all should go listen to it. Open your Gbedu app, listen to that thing. Pack the streams. Like I always say, like I'm so honored to have you on my show.
Thank you so much.
We're gonna cut now and continue this conversation. Elsewhere.
Big ups to you guys. God bless you guys. The Gbedu Hip Hop Radio is authentic and it's official.
Live. He said it all.